The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
If you want to discover the real hope for your life through inspirational music, relevant messages, and testimonies from others who have already found hope, then we encourage you to visit the second annual My Hope Conference, October 7th through 9th at Hickson First Baptist Church. Free admission and childcare is provided for kids up to pre-K, while those in kindergarten through 5th grade will attend the Kids Hope Rally. For more info, visit myhopeconference.com or call Hickson First Baptist Church at 423-877-2467.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
Good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department, from the Valley Low to the mountaintop, giving you guys a bird's eye view of what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Oh man, it's a beautiful day. It was like a little bit of fog, but now I see the sun shining here from the studio, and I am always grateful to have an opportunity to come back each day that I wake up and to hopefully encourage you guys, have some serious conversations, because there's a lot of things not only going on within the country, but Chattanooga is a microcosm of what is happening all around the country. And so often our attention, our energy, our time is spent with our eyes on Washington, D.C. and what's happening, and sometimes what seems like the circus of political affairs here in these United States of America. But we really should be focused on what is happening right here at home, because I firmly believe that if we got our attention in Washington, D.C., but we're not helping somebody who lives right across the street from us, right around the corner from us, or just in the same city, then we're not practicing brotherly and sisterly love, agape, unconditional love, which is what we should be living for. And so I just want to encourage everyone to do something here in the city of Chattanooga that's going to impact change, make a difference, because if we're waiting on just something to happen, we will be waiting. It's not going there. I believe in miracles. I do. I believe that the impossible can happen, but I believe that we have to work. That don't mean that we can't work. Y'all know what it is. Marie with the Marie Mott Show, 800-8949 if you want to call and talk to me today. As always, I'm streaming live on Facebook. So if you want to drop a comment, please do. I do try to read them. A lot of times I get a lot of interaction with the comments, and that's firmly okay. I do go back to read them, and I try to respond with them as well. It's a lot going on. We've had some gun violence that has been happening in impoverished communities. And me, Isaiah Moore, Keandria Moore, Cameron Williams, Miss Tanisha Irvin, and some other folks have been working to try to figure out what we can do, because locking people up is not the answer. Locking people up is definitely not the answer to our problems. All that does is just exacerbate already terrible conditions and situations for people who are lacking resources. And so I came up brainstorming with Isaiah, came up with an idea to just walk in communities, and I call it Plug Walk. And so we're going to start on the west side this Saturday at 1:00. Do not bring your Savior complex with you if you want to help. Bring an earnest and honest heart. Close your mouth. You got 2 ears. It's for listening. It's for trying to understand it. And then hopefully the information that we gather, the things that we hear, we could take this back to community leaders as well as our political leaders and petition them to get involved and see exactly what's coming out of the mouth. Not me speaking on behalf of people, But if we have some video footage, if people feel comfortable stating what they want, what they need in their communities to be able to turn away from these situations, then it's up to the city. The city's got to give it to them. My grandfather worked 50 plus years at U.S. Pipe paying taxes here in the city of Chattanooga. It's absolutely no reason why the city can't make an investment in the community that I come from, because I know a lot of older people who own their homes, a lot of older people who've lived in their communities for 50 plus years. We've paid taxes. So we're not begging for anything. What we're asking for is an investment. What we're asking for is for you to shift resources into our communities that we shouldn't really have to ask for, because if we pay taxes, that means that we should have some sort of positive flow in the form of investment that should be coming into our communities. And so meet us down on the west side, 1 o'clock. If you're afraid, don't come. If you got a savior complex, don't come. But if you just want to start doing some grimy work to get some things accomplished and to build a connection with people who often don't see people come to their neighborhood, then meet me there at 1 o'clock. Up until then, from 11 to 1, I'm going to be at Westside Missionary Baptist Church with Pastor Carruthers and with Pastor Keith Caldwell from Murfreesboro. We're having a vast voter registration initiative that's going to be going on all across the city. But I'm going to be at Westside Missionary Baptist Church, and the things that we're going to be talking about is not just voter registration. We're going to be dealing with biblical theology of social responsibility. What is the church's responsibility with social problems going on here in the city of Chattanooga? That voting is important, but what are the follow-ups and the things that we need to look at after we vote? Because we still, even as community, have a responsibility after that. So meet me there, 11 to 1, and then from 1 to people get tired, we'll be at the West Side walking, doing a plug walk. Let's get into it, folks, because part of what I just said goes into what my topic today is. It's not about party lines. It's about people. It's not about party lines. It's about people. The quote to start off the day is, "Honor is not the exclusive property of any political party." Honor is not the exclusive property of any political party. And that is from Herbert Hoover. Not only here in the city of Chattanooga, but our nation is more divided than it has absolutely ever been. It used to be the only thing that we really were divided by was rich and poor, and that wasn't too bad because we had a middle class. That's almost gone. But rich and poor, and white and black, white and people of color. But now we see a stark divide here in the city of Chattanooga, as well as in this nation, between our Democrats and our Republicans. And so I felt that having a real conversation about my personal feelings coming from the last presidential election, the problem with parties as I see it, why we have so many people who are registered voters, but people who are not encouraged to actually come out to the polls and vote, just giving an honest assessment about that. Because if we're looking to encourage people to vote, badgering them and beating them over the head, telling them to vote is not going to work. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked here. I mean, you could cut it. You could cut it. The problem is not that people often aren't registered. The problem is that people don't like the candidates. And it's not about party. It's about the people who run. And the fact often that we don't know the people who run, or we don't agree with the people who are running so much that we would rather not choose. And I had this discussion on yesterday with some of my station members here. Because my family has legitimate, and I understand where they're coming from in a way. My family has crucified me for not voting in the last presidential election. And you know how people will do. If you didn't vote for Hillary, then that vote was for Trump. If you say so, that's your opinion. But the problem is that really, and this is my opinion, the spirit behind the Democratic Party was Bernie Sanders. Let's be real. If you were a Democrat 9 times out of 10, you wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders. I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, right? He didn't approach the Democratic nomination with a sense of entitlement because the person he was married to was the president of the United States at once. He had serious sit downs and conversations with Black Lives Matter, with several different groups of people, socialists, progressives. I appreciated Bernie's style and way of working towards his presidential nomination. I didn't feel, and I mean, so I think one of the critical points of where I was completely turned off by Hillary, and this is one of the struggles I would say in this time of leadership, is that often when leaders make mistakes, when leaders say things, when leaders do things that they are criticized for, and they should know that are offensive or wrong, they're not earnest. They're not earnest. They're not intentional in apologizing or trying to work through whatever they did. You see, part of being a leader is not just having people clap for you and pat you on the back when you do things right, but it's also standing up and swallowing when you make a mistake, saying, I messed up. I messed up. And here's what we're going to do to try to overcome this situation or fix it. Let's go to the war room. Let's go to the boardroom. Let's go back to the drawing board. And I didn't really get that from Hillary. Even when some Black Lives Matters protesters approached her husband, because we know if you've done your history on mass incarceration, Bill Clinton is the reason why a lot of our families were destabilized from 3 strikes laws and being tough on crime. And when people approached him about that, he got defensive. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. It is looking at the situation of, if you in your presidency see you locked up more people than any Republican before you, that you destabilize more families for the purposes of being tough on crime in order for you to win the presidency in the first place. Swallow that, sir, and admit it. Admit that you made a terrible mistake. And you know what? Any political Democrat forward needs to abandon a tough on crime initiative. What we need to do is figure out how we can set some of these folks free, especially if they've been sent to prison over a nonviolent charge. That's just me. That's strictly Marie Mott right there. But it's not about party lines. It's about people. It's about people. And one of the things, besides the conversation I had with my station, some of the ladies and gentlemen here at the station, the conversation we had yesterday, I felt relieved that I wasn't the only one, that I got to sit across the table with with a beautiful lady here at the station who's from Australia, who's a single parent raising children by herself, and having her acknowledge and really admit to me that even she didn't vote because the moment that Bernie didn't win the nomination, it's a terrible day in America where we have to choose between 2 devils. It's a terrible, sad situation. I'm just being real. The lesser of 2 evils. To me, I don't consider any of that proper representation. having to choose between the lesser of a two evil situation. I look at the last mayoral race here in the city of Chattanooga. The reason Burke won wasn't because he's this stellar mayor, because he's just this wonderful person. I never even knew any of the guys who ran against him. Never heard of them, never seen them, never talked to him. It was no wonder that he won, and then only won with like a little over 11,000 votes. That's nothing. That's nothing. But why is that? The majority of people don't really believe in anybody, and they're waiting for some good people, the non-political person, the person who's ready to be real about issues, be innovative about issues, taxing people to come up with money that's not working. That's not the way. Locking 54 people up under a RICO statute because they're affiliated with a gang. Some of them needed to be locked up if they were connected to murders. But then you're not going to tell me 54 people deserve to be charged under a RICO statute because our police department can't put a finger really on some of these people. That's not innovative. It's not innovative. That's not an innovative solution to the problems here. That's not innovative. I mean, if we were to be super duper real about this, and this is why it's important for people to read. I want my listeners to be readers. Please turn off the television, turn off Netflix, Hulu, Stars, HBO, and I need you to pick up a book. Pick up a book. In my studies of American society, as a matter of fact, my most favorite parts in history is Nazi Germany. Has been since I was in middle school. In my studies of Nazi Germany, in my studies of ghettos and projects, I came across a study of lab mice, or whatever you can call them, lab mice, lab rats, where a mother, a father, and baby rats were all in a confined area. And the purposes of the study was to see what would happen to these mice if you would restrict them of resources and introduce a lot of noise into their environment. And lo and behold, with this study of just nothing but rats, mice, vermins, once you restricted them of water, once you restricted them of food, once you introduced consistent noise into their environment, they turned on one another. Now, this is mice. These are rats. These are rats. These are rats. So when I approach my city council, when I get on the radio show and I talk about poverty, I talk about the inner city, it's not just poor African-American people, it's poor Hispanic, poor whites, it's poor people of all kinds. When I talk about concentrated poverty, because it's not just poverty, there's often concentrated pockets of poverty in our city. You look, and I can only just be honest. You look and you see the two Chattanooga situation here in the city of Chattanooga is plain to see. How is it that we have some of the worst performing schools in the state that are public, and then we have some of the best performing schools in the country that are public? I want, scratch your head and how does that happen? How does that happen? How is it that we have, and I talked about this yesterday at the city council. It was kind of interesting. People just not understanding, even them sitting there, they just don't understand the problems that are literally 5 minutes away from them. We had individuals, at least 3 individuals, petitioning to use their private property for Airbnb so they could raise money to be able to afford these houses. because I started looking up some of the addresses where these folks were petitioning to have Airbnbs, and you're seeing houses worth $300,000 and $400,000. That's not cheap. But it was absolutely Looney Tunes that we had people legitimately petitioning, and there's nothing wrong if they want to turn their property into an Airbnb, but legitimately having opposition because folks feel that if somebody comes into an Airbnb, it's going to drop their property value or whatever. But legitimately 5 to 10 minutes away in the exact same city, there are neighborhoods and grocery stores where our biggest problem is not if we're going to have an Airbnb come into our neighborhood, it's are we ever going to get a grocery store? And when you have political candidates who get up and they talk about the same things, they try to repackage the same things over and over again in just their own way. And you see no change under Democrat, no change under Republican. What are the people to do? Because to me, I haven't seen really some of the answers to my problems in either one. I don't see any difference between Bob Corker and our current mayor. I don't see any difference. With the exception of this current mayor, it's if you make an appointment with them, it won't get acknowledged. Let's talk about it, good people. We're going to continue rolling. It's not about party lines. It's about people. How are we going to climb out of the situations that we're in? Continuing to go about it the same way that we've been doing it. Is there a way out of this? I got some ideas, but you're going to have to tune in to the second half of the segment to chop it up with me. Oh, man, it's Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Credit card skimmers have been found around town. According to the Chattanooga Police, skimmers have been found at Shallowford Road and McCullough Highway and Brainerd Road. The devices steal your credit card information so identity thieves can make fraudulent purchases. A Mount Juliet man is behind bars after surveillance camera video purportedly caught him kicking and slapping a 6-year-old. Randy Dickens is booked on charges of child abuse and neglect. The ex-wife of the suspect and mother of the child reportedly tells police she has evidence that he's hurt the child before. And detectives used the phone of a murder victim to indict her alleged killers. Court records say Bianca Horton was set to testify against Cortez Sims, but she was tortured and murdered before she could take the stand. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Charles Shelton, Courtney High, and Andre Greer. Dana Lash and The Dana Show, the conservative alternative, weeknights from 7 to 10 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
It's that time of year again. For the 7th year, Wings Over North Georgia Air Show will be Saturday, October the 13th, and Sunday, October the 14th. You'll see some of our government's finest assets flying in the world today. The rarely seen Air Combat F-22 Raptor demo team and the A-10 Warthog will both headline the show, along with Tora Tora Tora, which is the reenactment of Pearl Harbor to include pyrotechnics. Patty Wagstaff and Michael Goulian, both world aerobatic champions, will be showing off their amazing skills, along with numerous other aviation rock stars. On the ground, you'll be able to experience military static displays and even have an opportunity to ride in a Huey or Cobra helicopter. Wings Over North Georgia is an action-packed way to spend a weekend with your family. You can even camp on the grounds. The Richard B. Russell Regional Airport is the place for all the action on October the 13th and the 14th. For tickets and camping reservations, visit wingsovernorthgeorgia.com.
Join Nuga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships, as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nuga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
That partly cloudy and warmer weather out there for your afternoon. Any spotty showers few and far between. Highs back into the mid-80s tonight. Lows into the upper 60s. A little more patchy late fog. For Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny, heating up more like summertime. Highs back into the upper 80s. Looking to buy or sell a home? Real Living Southern Realty provides real answers and customized marketing solutions. Serving the entire tri-state area, check rlsouthernrealty.com for their complete listing. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
What's going on, everybody? It's Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. 2020 is right on our heels. Oh, man, and we cannot afford to walk into November. We cannot afford to walk into 2020 with the same political dissatisfaction that we have continued to have, not only here in the city of Chattanooga, but also all across this country. The distaste and just the fact of a large portion, not only of the country, but especially here in the city of Chattanooga, and especially when we talk about Hamilton County. Hamilton County has the lowest voter turnout than any other county in the state of Tennessee. The lowest. Surprise, surprise. To me, that's no surprise. We can look and see stark divides, if we can look and see large inequities, if we can look and see that when we have trusted, when we have trusted a Republican, we have trusted a Democrat, and still the majority of the city is not happy with how the city is progressing, that screams that maybe we need to rethink political parties. Maybe we need to rethink political ideology. Maybe we need to rethink political understanding. Maybe, just maybe, it's not about parties. To me, my belief, now this is my opinion. It's my opinion. It's not based on anything but my perception of what I have seen being a Chattanooga native. One party is no different than the other to me, except just a few short beliefs. To me, it's really no difference in how they have governed our city. Kevin Muhammad shared a newspaper clip from Bob Corker. Now, understand, Bob Corker has not been in office in almost a decade. We've had Burke almost going on 8 years, getting close, 2 terms. He shared a newspaper article from the Chattanooga Times Free Press where him and the Nation of Islam, as well as community, We're talking about police brutality and interactions. So seeing that we can go back almost 10 years and see that we're still circling around a lot of the same problems and issues, and we have transitioned from Republican to Democratic government. Whew. It's not about the party. It's about the people that we trust. Knowing good and well, we don't believe in them. Come on. Can we be real? Are y'all? I know I'm too real. I'm too real for radio, but that's cool. We know we don't believe in them. We know that. We know that people don't believe in it. The evidence is those who don't come out to support. It's only a small, it's from state representatives to council members. I mean, when you have situations where people are making it to county commission by 15 and 20 votes, we need to really assess the situation. The problem is that often we have people just show up out of nowhere stating that because they went to college, because they started a 501c3 or a 501c4, because they just have a burning desire, they deserve to be in some seat of political power. And for me, that's not enough. For me, what I'm looking at or what I'm looking for is for somebody to, first of all, say, you know what? We've been dealing with these same tired problems like affordable housing, police brutality, school inequity, wage disparity for 30, 40, 50 years, often longer than that. What are some of the things that we can do? Is the way out of police brutality to defund the police, to cut their budget in half? Is it to require them and the next person who wants to be the police chief to require, without exception, police officers to go into the communities not with military style weapons and uniforms, but with polo shirts, comfortable shoes, and jeans or khakis and a belt? Is affordable housing refusing to give people pilots all the way from Seattle to New York to Washington, D.C. to come and build condominiums that I would say the average person who can, I really wonder who are filling these places up. $1,000, $2,000 in housing. People just need a shower, a kitchen, space to put a bed, maybe a couch. And that shouldn't cost me $1,000 to be able to have that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Super ridiculous. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's taking shipping containers. I saw this in Las Vegas. It was quite cool. They had shipping container apartments. They had like apartments that were made out of old railroad carts. It was quite amazing. Just taking old stuff that nobody uses and making living spaces and quarters out of that. To me, that was like really, really cool. Things such as innovative. Saying that the way that we're going to try to get some lifeblood or funds into the city because we're giving so many people pilots. We give out more pilots in the Hamilton County than any other county. And maybe this is why.
And then we have not collected any money from these companies. I'm telling y'all check out Helen Burns Sharp. That lady has put me up on so much game. Whenever I meet her, she's going to get a hug. $400 million in taxes that these corporations owe us that we haven't collected. That could really be infused into our local economy. But the way to get that lifeblood and to booster, boost our economy is to continue to tax mostly just people who are already one paycheck away from being out on the street. That's not innovative. That's not innovative. That's not innovative. If we can't find, if we don't see innovative ideas, if we do not see servitude, now this is another big one for me. Service. How have you served the people before you say you wanted to serve them with political power? How have you served the people? Have you helped build a reading center, handed out clothes or food? Have you gone in when it's no cameras, no reporters? And have you done the work? Have you tried to figure out a way to build a bridge? Have you sparked any conversations? Have you tried to encourage millennials to get involved and the generation behind to get involved? Have you served before you approached us talking about you want some power? I don't want to give power to somebody who has not shown me that really the number one thing, the number one reason that they want the job is they want to go to another level of servitude. They just want, I got to shout out Logan Taylor of YB Normal. Every time I talk to that man, oh my goodness. He just doesn't know how he lights me on fire with every time I talk to him. I promise you the conversation ends the same every single time. I just want to serve. How many of the people who approach us have a history of service? Of service. No cameras. The community knows that knows that they have served. Yeah. It's not about parties. It's about people. People's lives. When you talk about wanting some political power, you are talking about being able to make decisions that can impact 2 to 3 generations. Do we understand what we are talking about and why this is the time, this is the season, not only for us to start grooming and encouraging people who we see serving, who we know are for the people, by the people, and are going to uplift the people with political power in innovative ways like participatory budgeting, new ways of policing, police accountability like a community oversight board, financial accountability and responsibility like a finance oversight board. We need that too. I would love Miss Helen Burns Sharp, even if she didn't want to, I would just love for her to recommend some folks. We need somebody to be able, from the community, to look into fiscal responsibility and accountability for people's taxes. Innovative. And I know I know somebody is sitting down, stealing all of this, and that's cool. We need to vet people. This is 2018 where everybody's lives, for the most part, because people, I don't know, people just want so much attention. And somebody talked about this in a conversation, me and my mom and somebody else a couple of weeks ago, that you can look on Facebook and see everybody's lives, that by the time you see them in person, you can't even ask them any questions, or you're asking them questions you already know the answer to because they put all of their life on Facebook. Okay, then what we need are some bloodhounds. And when people talk about, I want to run to be Chattanooga's next mayor. Okay, link with a millennial and have them go through that person's Facebook, and let's see what they've been talking about, and let's see what they've been doing. Ask their neighbors. Go talk to their neighbors. Go talk to their neighbors. See how they spend their free time. And we can see where their priorities are. I see so many people out here who are serving the community. And these are the people who really, let's talk about the way that we get back to the people is that first of all, we need to train people. How is it that I went to school? I'm not a dumb individual. I would consider myself intelligent. But even if I was not the brightest crayon in the box, how is it that we have schools, and one of the things that schools don't do is take a day out of school where each school has a day off, like a Friday, and they bus children down to City Hall. They bus children down to the city council so they can see how our government is ran. Bust them down, and the mayor walks them through the offices, sits down with them, and talks to them about what it takes to be a mayor. What does it take? What is a mayor responsible for? What decisions do they have to make? Kids have no idea often who even represents them. They have no clue. No clue. And if we're leaving that up to the schools, they'll never know. These are conversations that political training is something that should happen within community as well. And part of that is not just for, hopefully, the raising up of political candidates, but also for the purposes of then the community begins to understand what power they have and what to expect from leaders, what they can petition specific leaders for, right? What to expect from each article or branch of government. Because it's not about parties. If parties had it all together, if the Democratic Party had it together and the Republican Party had it together, why are we still going through these same problems? Because it's not about the parties. It's about the people. The people. Yeah. 800-8949. Nobody's ringing my line. I'm kind of hurt today. I thought that I would have people lighting up my phone today about it's not about the party. It's about the people. My solutions have to do with the people. If we want people to approach political races with honor, they already have to have it in them. I'm sorry. My mama says something to me all of the time, and that is, baby, you can't give what you don't have. And so you petitioning people, and this is why we really need to, the change starts with the people. Because if we don't elevate our understanding and our expectations, and we continue to trust the same way we have, I'm just going to vote Democrat because that's always what I voted. But the truth of the matter is that your situation is not getting better with a Democrat in front of you, or I always voted Republican because that's what my mama and daddy voted, but your situation is not getting better with a Republican representative, then we need to go back to the drawing board. And either that is pulling and encouraging people to either get into these parties and change them from the inside out, but I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it's time for us to do some independent political party building. Yeah. Starting with a clean slate. 2020 is going to come. I'm telling you, we're going to look up because it's already October. And I'm telling you, next thing we know, we're going to be walking through 2019. We are. This is the time. This is the time for us to brainstorm. This is the time for us to educate. This is the time for us to connect. This is the time for us to do more than just inspire people to vote. It's enough registered voters to flip this whole thing. 2020 is crucial. Our mayor's terming out. Everybody on city council is up. Every city council seat is up for grabs. It could be a takeover, a people's takeover in 2020. Are y'all ready? Are we getting ready? I wanted to have this conversation because I hope that we will not continue to allow ourselves to choose between the lesser of two evils. It makes no sense. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. We, the people, everything starts with the people. Let's raise and train up our own candidates. Let's inform ourselves. Let's find people with honor. People who believe in the foundations of the Constitution. People who believe in the Bill of Rights. People who are going to follow the Constitution to the letter. No exceptions. Let's find those people. People who didn't wake up the day before they submitted their papers to run saying they wanted to serve, but find them already serving. Because to me, I was going to aspire to a political position. It's just for me to be afforded the opportunity to have another level of service so I can serve the people. Y'all know what it is. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show talking about it's not about party lines or party divides. It's about coming together as communities and finding innovative ways to combat problems that are older than me. 2020 is around the corner. And folks, we need a change. But we have to be the change that we want to see. Y'all know what it is. Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. If no one is taking the time today to tell you that they love you, let me just help you understand. I love you. I love you. I love you. And it's nothing that you can do about it. I'll see you guys on tomorrow. Marie Mott Show.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Credit card skimmers have been found around town. According to the Chattanooga Police, skimmers have been found at Shallowford Road and Nicola Highway and Brainerd Road. The devices steal your credit card information so identity thieves can make fraudulent purchases. A Mount Juliet man is behind bars after surveillance camera video purportedly caught him kicking and slapping a 6-year-old. Randy Dickens is booked on charges of child abuse and neglect. The ex-wife of the suspect and mother of the child reportedly tells police she has evidence that he's hurt the child before. And detectives used the phone of a murder victim to indict her alleged killers. Court records say Bianca Horton was set to testify against Cortez Sims, but she was tortured and murdered before she could take the stand. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Charles Shelton, Courtney High, and Andre Greer. Dana Lash and The Dana Show, the conservative alternative, weeknights from 7 to 10 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John for Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7. Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
It's that partly cloudy and warmer weather out there for your afternoon. Any spotty showers few and far between. Highs back into the mid-80s tonight. Lows into the upper 60s. A little more patchy late fog. For Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny, heating up more like summertime. Highs back into the upper 80s. Looking to buy or sell a home? Real Living Southern Real